You built a monster. You built a monster. You built a monster. No breath, no heartbeat, just static remains. Hollow reflections, ghosts in the cold. So come burn down my escape. I wanna feel it, come drag me into the void. Let my circuits decay. I'm sorry, but it's too late. You never
Alrighty, it is Saturday. I did not stream yesterday because I needed a day off. We did 2 complimentary streams on Thursday, which we weren't planning on because of Project Motor Racing's update. We had some fun with that. They did do a hotfix yesterday. It did fix the DLSS and other problems that were created from the latest patch, which is good. I was wondering if they were going to actually do a hotfix patch or not, and it looks like they did. That's excellent. So now I believe that they are officially on vacation for the holidays. In the meantime, though, I want to switch over to iRacing because we got some good news about iRacing yesterday, at least that I saw on Instagram, and we'll see how it gets implemented. But it looks like I've heard inklings and read inklings about a graphics update, or just an engine in general, but I haven't seen anything too official from iRacing. However, iRacing officially posted about new tires coming in 2026, starting with the GTP tires, which I believe they're going to release those the beginning of January. And I've never felt so vindicated complaining so much about this game's cold tire physics, especially cold, because I don't necessarily mind the way the tires operate when they're at, operating temperature. However, it feels punishing for the sake of just difficulty that the cold tires are useless. I mean, you have to do 2 to 3 laps to really get the tires to a good operating temperature before you can kind of push a little bit. And it looks like they plan on maybe fixing that for the sake of realism, they said. And I can tell you that from someone who spent a lot of time figuring tires out in real life and different temperatures versus different tractions, different roads, etc. the iRacing cold tire physics is way off. Not even close. I would say it's way off. But the game is, or the sim, for the people that I might offend by calling iRacing a game, even though it is quite fun. It just can get a little aggravating when you have to keep warming your tires up from a completely useless state. Steve, the guy we play with, he's been in iRacing for a long time. You know, he's one of the guys that calls this game ice racing, you know, and it just feels like grip is lacking. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I like iRacing. I think iRacing's a lot of fun. The grind can be fun. Ranking can be punishing, but there's still a lot of fun to be had in iRacing if you're not chasing an I rating or anything of that nature. You know, my I rating right now is painfully low. So, well, the next short I'll be putting up, I'm actually going to put up a short of a custom lobby I had going where I want to say a A-class and a 3000 I rating player was parking himself just to intentionally try and crash me. Meaning he was parking on the side of the road and waiting for me to do the lap and then try and hit me. Yeah, it's kind of funny that the rating and stuff really doesn't mean anything, you know, in terms of what kind of a person you are in these games. Which is why I don't put too much effort into it, you know. So that being said, I'm debating on what I want to do right now as far as, I think I'm just going to get into some, let's see what's in the hosted section here. Let's do this. What we got in hosted? Yeah, let's jump into some Daytona. Let's try out the oh, never mind. Can't register in this one, even though it's, you know, part of my filter is eligible. It's fine. It's fine. What do we do for cars here? Ever thought about getting into Assetto course aside of sim driving or BeamNG? Been seeing more things popping up with custom servers. So yes and no. The original Assetto course is a 2014 game. It is it shines with modding. Modding is where that game has kind of thrived, and for me, like, I look at it like this. iRacing's not going anywhere. Ever. I don't see anything ever stopping iRacing from being used. Especially if they keep supporting it, you know? So for me, I look at things like, I'm not against playing anything. But, oh yeah, be careful. I gotta fix that. Well, you know, let me see if I can fix that now. And I'll just reactivate it. Hold on, let me, pop into my Streamlabs quick here. Or Streamlabs, not Steamlabs. Let's see if I can shut down the aggressiveness of the chat bot here. Where would that be? I'll look at that in a second, I guess. I have tried AC Evo. It's showing its potential, but it's not a game that, in my opinion, can be a game yet. It needs to be finished, you know. It's very far away from being finished. It has I think AC Evo, when it hits 1.0, I think AC Evo is going to be a pretty solid experience, you know. So let's see. I want to drive this car around here. Let's crank up. Where are we at? Blah, blah, blah. It's a practice server. Nobody cares. Wow. Wow, that's what I'm talking about, man. Oof. Where are we, Let's cycle through the black box here quick. Pull off to the side, get out of everybody's way. TC. I'm going to crank up TC all the way to max for now until we get some level of warm tires in this car. Come on. Come on by. All right, here we go. Yeah, like, that's insane. How do you, like, that's where I don't understand the cold tire physics here. You can't accelerate on cold tires at all. You know? Actually, you know what? Let's back out of this. Let's go to my own custom server. Let's get out of the lobbies here. That way, like, all the testing, the little things I'm going to mess around with right now for, you know, sample's sake, I'm not getting in the way of anybody else. So I'll just jump into a test server. Because iRacers take this very seriously, even when it's not ranked, that is. So let me see about the whole chatbot guy. Let me see if I can calm him down quick here. Hold on. This over here. Tests. We got it. Where is the chat bot? I gotta chill him the F out. Alright, I gotta Google it apparently, because apparently I'm an idiot. I set it all up and I just can't remember how to get to it. Can I find this? Dashboard. Cloudbot, here we go. Cloudbot, not chatbot. Alright, symbol protection, link protection, word protection. Preferences under word protection. So I can have it so that members can swear. I just don't know if that means subscribers or like full-blown paid members. I think for now, for sanity's sake, we'll just turn it off. Oh, hold on. That's the wrong one. Word protection. Let's turn you off for now. Alright. Move you back over here. Out of curiosity, anybody see the Jake Paul fight last night? I shouldn't even call it a Jake Paul fight. The Anthony Joshua fight. It was at least worth entertaining the idea of it. All right, so let's get into my Cadillac here. Select. Let's pick a track that makes sense. Let's try the new Miami. There we go. So we're also going to be back on later tonight for some open lobbies, but, you know, I figured I'd jump on for a couple hours during the day and just mess around with some iRacing for anybody who is around. I know it's a Saturday morning, so most people are probably, you know, living their lives, not looking at me, and I'm cool with that. All right, so let's see. Max out TC till we get the tires warm. Let me turn this down just a bit. Nothing. The problem that I have is that I spin. So TC is completely maxed out right now. Completely maxed out. And yet I will spin through the TC and the tires will completely lose grip. And that's just not how TCs work. With it completely maxed out in sensitivity standpoint, the second one of those tires starts to get some slip, it should cut power so that it doesn't continue. The car should be just slow. That's the only thing. Like if TC worked the way it should work, let's just say hypothetically I was on tires that just had no grip, the car would just be slow. It just would never put power down. Oh, looking at the black box. Where are we at here? Pressures. Oh, there's that. Phantom wheel? Yes, sir. Yeah, I always turn my wheel off in everything I play, because I have a wheel in front of me. Jesus. Man. Are hypercars terrible in real life? That was with ABS. Look at that. You could see the ABS activation. Crazy. Man. I see why they're addressing the tires on these cars first. GT3 cars have way better grip. Way better grip. Alright, braking zone. Look at that. Look at that. That's awful. What? That's insane. Is that really how people drive these cars? Like in this, I mean? That's actually wild. Nothing. I have TC maxed out right now to try and control these cars. Yeah. Oh, man. These cars are interesting, huh? Also, I don't know this track at all. Miami. I've only driven it in F1 25. Jesus. Does iRacing have Yas Marina? I don't think it does, right? I'd have to look. Like, really look at the track list. I'm just trying to get these tires warm without actually hitting the wall. Because I don't know if I can... I think I might be able to. I don't remember if I can turn off damage for the test session. Just for the sake of testing and not having to keep going back to the pits. How much is the iRacing sub? It depends. I have the... I bought into the 2-year promotional one. So it was $100 for 2 years. But I want to say the regular price is like $12 a month. It might be 10, but... I don't know about reoccurring members, because I was a new member to iRacing. Jesus, man. I really, really, really hesitated to take the plunge into iRacing because of its business model and how much money you can spend on it. But, yeah, I can see why these cars are getting tires first, though. The tires in these cars are awful. I assume that's in quotes for a reason there, JPS. Making fun of people, and if so, I agree. And by the way, whenever I host lobbies for, like, you know, fun purposes, damage is off. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to torture people. Because the tire model is so awful that, you know, the amount of times you'll crash trying to push to heat your tires up, you know. TC activates too late. It's just not... Like, iRacing could be so much... I want to know who gives the, like, the generalized instruction for what these cars do. Or cars in general do. Because, I mean, listen, I've never obviously driven a hypercar. But I would imagine that the ECUs that are in these things are more advanced than anything else. So, if I'm going to maximize the sensitivity of the traction control system, so it leaves most of the... like, that's ridiculous. That's not ABS, that's tires. Because the ABS is working. The tires are just not stopping the car. They're sliding. If you play LMU or Rennsport or anything, these cars feel very differently in those. I wouldn't say PMR is better than iRacing. I would say it's different. if the $70 of Project Motor Racing, like, is considered expensive to people, don't get an iRacing. You know, $70 doesn't go very far in iRacing. But iRacing's also not going away, so it's a long-term investment into yourself, your racing skill set, the game, everything. It's not... Yeah. Yeah. This is pretty rough. Alright, so let me see in the settings if there's a way to turn off damage. Actually, you know what? Rather than me look it up, I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to look up, I'm going to Google it. Where's my phone? There's no phone. Can you turn damage off in a test session on iRacing? Alright, selecting the option during session setup. So I'm assuming I have to quit this session. Yeah, tracks are $15 a track. That's weather. Yep, this is fine. Also go to clear. Let's go to clear and let's make it as hot as possible. Because if this is realistic, that should help me get the tires warmer faster. No. Noontime. Should have the most amount of sun. Where are session settings? I mean, I'm in session settings, obviously. But where would be the... Close. Open it again. See if those changes stuck. Yep, 90 degrees. Got it. Go to car options. Oh, right here. It's it. By turning this on, you disable the ability. So it was on, yet my car was getting completely totaled. That's so typical iRacing right there. All right, let's get on a track that I am not completely useless with. But okay, for example, since you're in here and asking, every one of these tracks that I don't have is $15. So as you can see, there's a lot. All right, let's car settings, disable car damage was already checked. I mean, maybe it was cosmetic only, but man. Let's give it the old college try. See what happens here now. So how confident are we in the success of PMR? I will say I'm happy to see the devs farming out patches. They're trying it. So it's not like it's, you know, it's definitely not a snatch and grab in terms of, you know, releasing a game broken, collecting money, and then bailing on it. However, you know, from the start, they haven't made the best decisions. So I'll be very interested to see if, you know, how the game is supported in the long term. Because I believe inside of like 6 months to a year, PMR is going to be a very, very, very solid game to have in the arsenal of sim racing and fun in general with racing. But I will be very interested to see what the long term feels like. All right, so my temperatures, this doesn't tell me an up to date. tire info, but it doesn't tell me. All right, let's jack up the traction control, both of them, as sensitive as possible. Also, I want to see what it recommends for force feedback on this car. All right. So the question is, can I crash and my car not take damage? I mean, it just fell apart. Oh, okay, got it. So it doesn't eliminate the damage. Got it. It doesn't eliminate the damage from appearing. It just immediately fixes your car. Got it. Thank you. Thank you for making me understand. Also, I need a digital dash of some kind. I have no information on this car right now. But that's fine. We're just... Information doesn't matter too much. We're just trying to drive it, you know? Hey, I ran it out of gear. Look at that. Yeah, there's just nothing. You have to... So... As much as these cars don't get traction from their tires in a straight line, like actual acceleration, they get worse traction on the brakes. So what, this one's 11 Newton meters? Really? Okay. All right, we'll take it. I thought it felt pretty good at 6. All right, brake now. Because I just don't trust these tires. The worst part is that people will tell me that this is accurate because they love iRacing, and if it's iRacing, it's got to be right? But the grip in LMP cars or LMDH cars feels worse in this than it does in Project Motor Racing, and Project Motor Racing is getting roasted for its traction with those cars. Nothing. You got to get off the... Like, one thing about this car is there is zero turnability on the ABS. I think we're getting a little bit more grip now, which is starting to feel decent. You only got to do one lap of Le Mans to get the tires warm. On a 90-degree sunny day with no overcast. So for the guys who are in here right now, I'm going to be doing an evening stream about 12 hours from now. Well, actually, no, not 12 hours. I'm probably going to do it earlier. Would you prefer to see Project Motor Racing or iRacing for public lobbies? I know more of you are probably here for me with Project Motor Racing than you are with iRacing, because I am such an iRacing rookie, it's not even funny. But... You know, I can have fun in both of them in open lobbies. Alright, car's finally starting to feel like it's got some level of grip now. I actually don't mind the grip levels in iRacing when the tires are warm. I don't. It feels pretty honest. It's when they're cold, there's too much of a swing. So I have it set to a 90-degree day, 0 overcast, noontime. So the concrete or the track should be very hot. The tires should be saturated. And yet when you come out of the pits, it's like you're still on ice. And that just isn't the case. Alright, let's brake at the recommended braking zone according to iRacing. I mean, it works. Like, this car feels pretty good now. But it took a full lap on Le Mans to get it there. You know? $9.9, got it. Now, I want to do a little streaming experiment with you guys. You obviously see the thumbnail, and the title is iRacing. I just want to try one thing quick. Alright, so let's get out of this. I'm going to make the exact same thumbnail. Oh, not what I wanted to do. Quit. Close, close. Let's open up my trusted Canva here. Let's make a new thumbnail. Okay, so let's get rid of the Mustang. Let's get rid of iRacing. We'll keep that text up there and we'll just change it. Let's see, so... Alright. Let's put this on screen. Let's get rid of the patch wording. Let's do this. Let's get this on here. All right. Now we edit this to Hotfix 1.5.0.4. Okay. Test. Oh, hold on. Test session. Yeah, sounds good, right? Because that's what this is. This is a casual stream. We're not doing anything crazy here. Just hanging out. Testing some games out. Put an extra space there. All right. So I'm going to change the thumbnail and title of the stream to this. I'm curious if viewership goes up or goes down. Because I honestly think that right now, the more desired thing to watch is Project Motor Racing, because everybody knows what iRacing is. So now we're going to go to YouTube. We're going to update the thumbnail. YouTube Studio. Live. Go away. All right. Project Motor Racing. Casual Saturday. Hotfix. 1.5.0.4 testing. And then we're going to change the thumbnail to the one we just made. And we're going to save it. Waiting for YouTube to, respond. And there you go. Now, if you guys look, the thumbnail and everything is different. Let's see. We stopped at 12 viewers. I'm curious. This is a little test session on viewership more so than it is on video games. All right. Let's jump over into PMR. I'm going to give it a second and see how things go. Let's see. Is this... This should automatically switch, but we'll switch it ourselves. PMR, even though PMR is running the same thing, just about everything else is. I'll just turn it off since it doesn't do anything anyway. But now that I got the iRacing feel of the LMDH, the Cadillac specifically, which is my favorite one, I want to see how it is in our trusty PMR here. Because we like the grip in iRacing when the tires are warm, but our complaint is the same complaint as everybody always has. Cold tires feel just ridiculous. Now, we can't test Le Mans. I guess that was a bit of a mistake. But we'll do Spa. Spa's a solid, comparable. A lot of straights, stuff like that. All right. LMDH, let's get the trusty Cadillac out. All right. We're going to try Pristine Track. Damage off, pre-tire warm. Let's go. Do we think we're going to feel better or worse? And look at that. Viewership's going up. Very interesting. People want to see Project Motor Racing more than they want to see iRacing. It's crazy because there are so many more people playing iRacing. And yet, the viewership, I mean, I get that I'm not known at all. I have no footprint whatsoever in iRacing. But it's like, it's crazy how, in general, this game gets more clicks and views than iRacing and all the popular sims, simply because people want to know. The reality is regardless of what you see out there, people want this game to be good and successful. So, all right, let's get back to where we were. Yeah, and as much as you want to hate on the visuals of this game, all you want, the visuals are far superior. I will say that. Haven't heard of this game yet? Yeah, she's the latest and greatest. So we're on TC6. Oh boy, force feedback is high right now. I mean, grip feels pretty good by comparison. I mean, I would have died in iRacing already. I wonder if they... Grip feels really good, actually. That's rare for these cars. These cars usually feel like a, you know, slippery bag of ass. Now, mind you, these tires are pre-warmed. So for anybody wondering, just changing my thumbnail and title, viewership just tripled. And neither one of them were clickbait. They were both honest. Oh, there we go. There's the spin out I was looking for. I want to turn off the in-car mirrors. Is that an ability? I like the virtual mirror. I don't like the car mirrors. Let's test out Max TC and see how it responds. Max ABS, Max TC. I just want to see what the car does. Because what was it that I was playing? Was it this? Yeah, it was this. Where the car wouldn't even accelerate. Like in high gear and everything, it was just straight up. This one, it's driving, it's acting normal. So this casual stream here, I've switched over to bug chasing on PMR. Essentially. I know iRacers aren't going to like this, but iRacing needs some work because this car feels substantially better in this than it does in iRacing. Also, if you're new around here and or not new around here and a repeat customer and want to like the stream, maybe even subscribe, I'm not saying I wouldn't appreciate it. Yeah, this actually feels pretty solid. So what I want to test next, without changing the car, the track, or anything, I want to test the surface. So now that I got somewhat of a mental... Because my tires are, according to at least the color... The temperature, I would say they're warm. 190 degrees, that seems pretty good to me. But the game is telling me the tires are technically still cold, which I don't know if I believe that. I'm pretty confident these tires are warm, especially based off how the car feels, you know. Alright, so now that we've done that... Let's jump out of this, and let's change it to heavily rubbered, the track surface. I want to see if that affects... Because heavily rubbered is how I've been using things. So in my brain, heavily rubbered means we're going to have more grip because we've left a lot more rubber on the ground. And typically rubber binds to rubber, but it's possible that maybe it's not. Maybe it's doing the opposite. Maybe it's creating slip. So let's put softs back on. No changes to the car. This is default car, by the way. So if you drive worse than me, just know it's you, not the car. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm pretty poor at driving these cars. So, let me actually real quick too. I want to see if there's a way to turn off the... you guys can't see it, but I want to turn off the... I want to leave the... Where is it? The virtual mirror on, but I want to turn off the in-car mirrors. And I don't know if I can. That's an ability. Graphics settings. No. I don't see anything. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Because right now I have like a picture here. I'll show you. On my screen right now I have like a picture-in-picture mirror system going on right now, and it's kind of annoying. But I like the digital one. I don't like the car rendered one, because until they increase the resolution of it, I don't want to look at it. I'll be honest with you. Alright, so let's try heavily rubbered. And see if... And then we'll turn our TC all the way back up. Just for the sake of comparison. I want to see if grip feels any different. Tell you one thing, I didn't lift off the throttle at all right there. This car just feels like it's got an immense amount of grip. Whoop, whoop. It's always the shift. It's always the shift that gets you. I'll be honest with you, I don't notice too much. It seems like it has pretty solid grip the whole time. I have to wonder if, even though it wasn't in the Hotfix patch notes, that they changed these tires. I kind of want to reach out to one of the devs, but I also don't want to bother them. You know what? I'm gonna. I'll do it on Discord. He doesn't have to reply, obviously. Just so everybody is curious, I hold no obligation for him to respond. But the message will be in his inbox for if he feels like responding or he's bored or whatever. So right now, let me pause it, shoot over to Discord, and contact him. And I'm just curious. All right, back out of this, messages. Ha! Testing 1504. All right, message him. See what he replies to. I will be right back. Quick, gotta use the bathroom. All right. All righty. Let's put this over here. All right, so the Cadillac feels fantastic. So let's try another one. Let's just run through them. There's a lot. Good Lord. There's a lot of cars to play with. But you know what? I have very little time in the LMDH class, and it's quite popular. So let's jump into the Acura. Let's start there. I felt nothing from Pristine versus Rubbered. So let's just go Pristine, since it's less anomaly on the track. Clean track. Let's just see. So far, Cadillac feels good. There was nothing in their patch notes regarding the tire models from 1503 to 1504. This is essentially at least listed as a hotfix for the mistakes that were made or introduced into... Oh, wrong one. Wrong one, Evan. Don't go that way. All right, let's turn up TC to max. See if I can hold this locked. Yep. Able to lock that out without lifting off the throttle at all. So that's good. That compares directly to the Cadillac. Different kind of stopping, but it still stopped good. It just stopped. So it felt like it had an excessive amount of brake fade in the beginning. But then it was, I think, the opposite of brake fade, because it felt like it had brake fade at first, and then it, like, insta-gripped out the big end. And the big end of the braking zone, I mean. Turn TC down a little bit. Get out of the rubber there. Or grass, I mean. Oh man, these cars are, they're starting to feel better. Oh, way too late on the braking zone. All right, so I would say that's 2 for 2 right now. We're 2 for 2 on the LMDH is feeling good. So... let's try the Alpine. See how that feels. We're going to run through every one of them. Doing the exact same. We're going to do one lap. Essentially, we're going to do a cold lap. Even though the tires are warmed, its ambient temp is 71 degrees. Track temp's 83 degrees. We're keeping everything the same. But I wanted to see how these cars are. I don't care about my 15-second penalty. If any devs are watching, a feature that I would like, it's not that big a deal, but it is something that I would personally like, is the ability to just turn off penalties in your own standard races, single-player races. Oh boy, this car's got some force feedback, though. Yeah, this car's got some healthy oscillating force feedback. Good lord. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Yep. Okay, that's there. Whoo! Ignore my driving there. I'm heavily distracted by the savage oscillation that is the force feedback of this car. So that, they got to address that, in my opinion. Mind you, I have force feedback all the way up. Just so you know, we'll look at it quick. Controls, Simagic, tab over, global force feedback gain 100%, low force boost 20, brake feel 30, 0 on smoothing, 100% headroom, rumble strength 30. And I have 18 Newton meter base that's maxed out in the base software. However, that oscillating is built into the coding of the car, not the force feedback. So I could probably fix it in the car itself's force feedback, but I'm running these on all their default setups, just to show default setups. So far, this car has the least grip of the three I've tested. Oh, Jesus. Actually, I want to see. So you see the antenna ghosting? I want to see if that's DLSS or DLAA or none of the above. So we're going to turn off everything. So this is going to look a little ugly for a second here. Off. So we have no anti-aliasing whatsoever. Alright, it's not doing it. It's aliased as absolute hell, though. Oh! Now let's see if TAA does it. These are just different anti-aliasings. TAA's on. It goes a little bit, but obviously not nearly as much as DLSS. The image just doesn't look as good, though, to me. So they are aware of the bugs that DLSS has, by the way. I'm still going to run it because it looks better in general. Outside of the ghosting, it just looks better. DLSS and DLAA are just the king of visuals. Unfortunately, it's NVIDIA-specific technology. I'd say the Alpine needs some work. Very good responsive steering, but it's got a little less grip, and it's got some, I mean, how do I grab the wheel other than just stopping the car? Now, I know most people will be like, oh, it's normal, they all do that. Well, not when you have the features that are built into your wheelbase like that create oscillations turned off. That's baked into the car itself. Is the FGT cockpit good, please? Yes, I think it's fantastic. I think for all of the tubular rigs so far, I think it's the best one that I've sat in. The one complaint I have, which isn't really a complaint, you know this when you buy it, is it doesn't have the ability to change the seat. It's one seat. I do have a back pad on it, though, to soften it up a little bit. It is comfortable, but the back, I mean, I've sat in a lot of other race seats that are way less comfortable. So it's, you know, there's give and take. I have not found the perfect rig yet. I think the aluminum profile ones are a lot more customizable, but even still, there is no rig off the shelf that I would just buy and use and not modify. I've made modifications to this. I have a aluminum extrusion cage around this thing, but Yes, the FGT Pro is a solid, solid choice. I very much like it. All right, let's jump into the Valkyrie now. Valkyrie is the only other one we spent any real time in. Most of the time has been spent in the Cadillac when we use the LMDH, just because it sounds good. I don't like these super high, whistly sounding hybrid sounds. All right. Got our softs on. Let's see how this car drives. Oh no, false start. So far, this car feels solid. Track limits, alright. That's fine. So far, it's the Alpine. The Alpine sucks. That's the short layman's version. So the Cadillac, the what was the second one we used? Was it Acura? I can't remember. Cadillac solid, the Valkyrie solid, the Acura solid, the Alpine sucks. Now maybe you could tweak the Alpine in settings if you really like that car, but in my opinion, just drive another car. Obviously they would have to fix it on their end, but so far we are 3 for 4 as far as good feeling LMDH cars. Mind you, I don't know how to drive these cars, so grain of salt on my driving. But so far, three quarters of them solid. I think the Valkyrie might even feel the best. I'd have to go back to the Cadillac. Cadillac's my personal favorite, but the Valkyrie feels smooth. Feels real smooth. I know this car individually has gotten quite a few patches, though. I have to say, these cars feel very different from 1503. There was nothing in the patch notes about changes to the LMDH cars from 1503 to 1504. 1504 was essentially a hotfix for the problems that 1503 created. Hence why it's called a hotfix and not a patch. Yeah, this car's got some nice grip. And we're not running max TC like we were testing the other ones. I forgot to do that, honestly. Not that you should have to, but... Like, see, this has oscillation, but the second both my hands are on the wheel, it's, like, completely gone and easy to kind of handle. Whereas the Alpine, I'm holding on for dear life to get the oscillations to stop, and they just don't stop. Nope. Let me just turn TC to max, see how it feels. So what I can say is, having just got out of the Cadillac in iRacing and jumped over here to Project Motor Racing, I can tell you that of the 3 quarters of the cars, like I said, the Alpine feels broken still. Of the 3 cars that I feel good in this, all feel better than the ones I've driven in iRacing. So, any slack you see about these cars getting on the internet, just know they're worse in iRacing. The iRacing cars feel good when the tires are warm, but it takes 2 laps of a long track to get the tires to be acceptable. When they're cold, iRacing has no grip. This is like 20 times as much grip as iRacing with cold tires. Alright, so let's jump over to the next one now. So, alright. So far, Acura, solid. Alpine, dog water. Valkyrie, solid. The Cadillac is solid. Now we're going to try the BMW and see how that one feels. Most of these cars I've never driven, so this is actually kind of interesting for me too. All right, vehicle setup, tires, softs, drive.
Focus on the lights.
Now, I'm gonna do what I want. TC to max, just the test. So far, this is feeling like a good one. That's just driver mod. Got to work on that. All right, this is the straight where you're going to see if the oscillations get out of control. So far, there's some oscillation. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say this one might... This feels like it's in the between the Alpine and the other three cars. The other three cars felt very similar. The Alpine feels terrible. This one's okay. That's the words I'm going to say for it right now. I'm also going to buy this game on PS5. I'm just waiting for a potential if they come out with a discount. Last thing I want to do is buy this on a second game system and at full price if there are discounts coming out. But I want to get it on PS5 as well. Just for comparison's sake. Because I am happy to help out the devs. Oh no! Smash, crash, bang, boom. Alright, so... This car's okay. It's drivable. Cadillac, alright, so let's go down the list again. Acura, good. Alpine, terrible. Valkyrie, good. BMW, okay. Cadillac, good. Now let's try the old Lamborghini. The one that's on the cover of the video game. I'm a beginner trying to advance my rating, but continuously get bumped off track. In what, Kevin? I assume this? Good luck in ranked racing. That's my best advice there. Good luck. Ranked racing is... Man, you got to go into it with a positive mental attitude and just not be at all affected by idiots on the road. That's what I can say. But yes, like Steve said, welcome to sim racing. Steve, what do you want to do tonight? You want to do iRacing or you want to do some Project Motor Racing? So I'm going to be doing an evening stream. I'm only going to do this for a couple hours and then I'm going to get off. I just want to do some testing since I didn't stream it all yesterday. I decided to take a day off yesterday. Streaming is a lot of fun, but, and I know it's not much work. It's zero physical work outside of what I'm doing on the wheel. But, man, to put on your talkative face and entertaining face and just go at it for a couple hours. I like talking, but every once in a while, I like to just chill out. And yesterday, I needed a chill out day. So this car feels like the BMW so far. Would have never guessed I like talking. That sounds like sarcasm, sir. Well, that's why I stream, because I like to talk. To me, there's nothing more painful than a streamer who sits there and says nothing the whole time. It's called a parasocial relationship. You know? Humans naturally do it and they don't even realize it. They'll socialize with a total stranger and build a friendship based off like this alternative reality. Oh, come on. I barely went off track there, buddy. I barely went off track. So I would say this car drives like the BMW. I'd put this car in the okay category. I got a like for it? Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Maybe even hit the subscribe button if you want to hear me talk about nonsense. Or don't. It's fine. Either way. So yeah, I'm putting this car in the okay category. It's definitely drivable. The only car I would say stay away from at this point is the Alpine. But grip levels are solid. I'm not coming off the throttle there at all. Zero. The only thing I would say that then you could probably tweak it is see the oscillation right here? I'm holding out with one hand. Two hands makes most of it go away, but I'm gripping it pretty good. The BMW is like this too. The Alpine, no matter how hard I grip it, is just trying to rip my arms off the whole time. Now mind you, these are all default setups, so you can tweak things further if you want. Alright, so that's that one. Already hit the sub. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you. If anybody else out there would like to hit the sub button too, I'm just saying. Alright, I think the Peugeot was like, that's how I say it, by the way. I don't know if that's right. Don't really care either way. This car was pretty bad last time I drove it. I have the feeling it's still probably pretty bad. I think it had the same Alpine problems where it's just wanting to kill you the whole time going in a straight line. So, only changes we're making are soft tires. Not touching anything else. I want to drive them in their default states. TC Max, just for the sake of comparison. Alright, here we go. And here it begins. Yeah, it's the same as the Alpine. Excessive oscillating in the force feedback. I gotta learn the gear changes on these cars too. I don't have a whole lot of experience with them. I'm just sort of doing a casual review of how they drive by comparison. So, I know a lot of people didn't see it because this stream started as an iRacing stream, and I did a social experiment, and my social experiment collected the data that I was expecting. So right now we have over 50 viewers. I jumped in on iRacing in the beginning. Different thumbnail, different title, different everything. Oh, K-Dog, we got a sub. Thanks, K-Dog. Appreciate that. So I jumped in on iRacing, different thumbnail, different title. Went about 30 minutes or so, maybe 45. Yeah, this car's just not fun to drive. It drives okay, but the force feedback, you'd have to tweak the hell out of it to get it to be a comfortable experience. That's just like the Alpine. So for reference, real quick, we'll just jump back in the Cadillac to show you what I mean. The Valkyrie feels great too. But anyway, so I was on iRacing. I think we peaked at 12 viewers. I'm like, all right, this is where I'm going to do a social experiment. I changed the thumbnail live, and I changed the title. Updated the stream. Within 5 minutes, viewership tripled. Now, I know you get kind of pulled into these vacuums of like, okay, I've been streaming this game more, so I have more people viewing this game. But that's the algorithm doing the algorithm thing. But the instantaneous shift tells me people care more about viewing. They're waiting because everybody knows what iRacing is. They don't know what PMR is, what it will be. It could be a total flop in a year's time, or it can be a hit in a year's time. We don't know. We're kind of riding the wave of seeing what happens. But the desire for this game to be good, ignoring the idiots on social media, or by social media I mean YouTube, that just want to just drag the game down because of not liking the CEO. I couldn't care less about that. Is the game good or bad? That's what I care about. That's the end of my debate. Bottom line is, viewership tells me people are waiting to see what this game's going to do. They want this game to be good. Or they want it to be bad and they're hate watching it. That's always a possibility too. So anyway. Oh, I love the sound of the Cadillac, man. Sound goes so far with me. I'm such a sucker for it. Now we got some oscillation in this one too. It's not nearly as bad, but this car just lays down power so much better. I'm turning in a little too hard there. And this car also doesn't get immediately oversteered by downshifting. A lot of the other LMDH cars, you downshift them and you just crash. I would say this and the Valkyrie are probably my two favorite. Valkyrie feels pretty good. I think the Valkyrie is probably a little bit smoother. And yes, I do agree, Andre, about the penalty system, but that'll come in time, you know. All right, so we have the Porsche and the Toyota left. I can tell you this, Andre. As far as career mode goes right now, unless you are really, really, really dying to play career mode, I would just avoid it until the game's where everybody wants it to be. You know, bottom line is this. No one patch is just going to change all of the problems. This game, they've already had 4 patches from day one. Not including the day one patch. I don't include the day one patch ever in any game. Day one patch is release day. That's what the game releases at. So we've had 4 patches since then. We're going to have many, many, many more patches. Many more. And yes, there will be patches that do more positive than other patches, but don't expect one patch to just fix this. One patch isn't going to make the tires perfect. One patch isn't going to make the penalty system perfect. One patch isn't going to make the handling physics perfect. One patch isn't going to make the graphics perfect. It's not how it's going to work. It's going to be twisting knobs, dialing in things. And the problem is there are so many people giving conflicting feedback. That is the hardest part about this. You'll have one person say, oh, this is perfect, this drives great, and another person say, this is all wrong. Who do you listen to? So you have to, unfortunately, make decisions by slightly, I don't want to say more educated people, but people that have more experience and majority votes. You know, if 20 people aren't having an issue with something and one person is, you don't change it for the one person. You leave it for the 20 people. And that person has to make adjustments on their own end because everybody has a different of opinion that bleeds into video games. Can multi-class offline races occur in this game? Like single player? Is that what you're asking? Like you're just jumping into a lot like what I'm doing right now, which is a single player race? Where I'm just by myself at the moment. This is what, the Porsche? I believe this is the Porsche, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this is the Porsche. Oh, yeah, we got another oscillator. I don't even care about my driving right now. I'm just not going to use this car because of this. Yeah, see? I'm holding on. I'm gripping it. I am gripping this wheel. I don't need to see any more. Porsche's no go. So right now, I would say the force feedback is where these cars vary the most. Because I'm changing nothing. I'm getting in the default car and putting soft tires on it. I'm not changing my force feedback on my wheel, not changing my force feedback on the game, nothing. I'm literally tires and chassis, softs, we're done. And I go make a pull. And I don't care about the penalties because I'm not playing to the penalties right now. What is happening here? Let's go. Interesting. Oh, here we go. It's beginning. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Alrighty. I think that answers that question, huh? Oh, boy. And then we're going to do this. Let's get into the Valkyrie. I want to show you the difference. Tires only. Well, this is already better because it accelerated right off the rip. The Valkyrie might be my favorite right now. I like the Cadillac for its audio, but driving-wise, I think I like the Valkyrie. But I do know this car has got, like look at right now. I'm barely on the wheel. Going in a straight line. I shouldn't be fighting the car in a dead straight line. I'm sorry. Look. There's oscillating in the wheel that I'm fighting, but like there's not a lot there. That's very gentle and manageable. So, in my opinion, there's 3 good LMDH cars right now. That's the downshifting, what I was telling you about. When you downshift to too you're in too high an RPM when you downshift, you will upset the rear end of the car. A lot of that's driver. I got to get used to that. The cars have great accelerating grip, I'll say that. The only place that they have any real grip loss is when you downshift them too aggressively. It's a toss-up between the Cadillac and the Valkyrie for me. Which LMDH car I like the best. They're pretty close, in my opinion. Yeah. Valkyrie feels solid. Feels very solid. So it's, for me, Valkyrie or Cadillac would be my go-to LMDH cars. Just gotta learn to drive them, that's the biggest thing. I gotta avoid second gear, that's the thing. Third gear is my second gear for these cars. Oh no! We crashed. We binned it. Want to see something here? All right. I will be right back, 2 seconds, and we'll try some other cars. All right, so is it the GT3 cars that people want to see now? Gabriel in chat says that, so let's even get some other opinions in here. I'll happily run through every car. This is a casual stream, not really doing any racing, not doing any grinding, just doing some testing with a Diet Coke. All right, let's go. Not all LMDH. I haven't messed around with the LMP cars at all, like at all. Maybe we'll just walk down the list. Well, we know how the Group C's are. We won't review those. Those are amazing. All right, so real quick, the LMDH Project Motor Racing update in terms of how these cars drive since launch. The Acura is solid. The Alpine needs some force feedback changing. The Valkyrie, I would say it's number 1 or number 2, depending on my thoughts on the Cadillac. The Cadillac is the close second, if not first. The BMW is okay. They all seem like they grip kind of the same. But the default force feedbacks need work on the BMW, the Alpine, the Lamborghini, the Peugeot, the Porsche, and the Toyota. They all seem like they have the same grip, but the force feedback by default on those cars is a lot more aggressive, and an aggressive in a negative way, in my opinion. Like I said, the Valkyrie, the Cadillac, I think they are the best cars in the LMDH class. Those are the ones that I would use. The BMW and the Lamborghini, I would say those would be a step below them, are usable. But the Toyota, the Porsche, the Peugeot, and the Alpine all have very, very aggressive force feedback. I would not use those cars unless you planned on tweaking the force feedback to make them, if you really want to drive those cars, tweak the force feedback and dial them in your way. But in my opinion, the Valkyrie and the Cadillac drive so well out of the box, I just don't see a point in using anything else but those two cars. That's just my opinion. Let's jump into the LMP cars. We'll do the same thing, same loop. All right. Same thing. Tires only. Oh, these only get hards, so we don't have to change anything.
Good luck, mate. You can do it.
Good luck, mate. Thanks, mate. Oh no! Messed that all kinds up. Looking at all sorts of things around the place. So far, way easier to drive than all of the LMDH cars. Oh, I gotta remember to not do that. Can't over-down. These, just like the LMDH cars, you can't over-downshift. You will lock the tires up. A little bit of excessive oversteer. So the hotfix was for... Basically, they introduced patch 1503. And they fixed a lot of things, changed a lot of things around, but they did break a few things as well. So they essentially, the hotfix 1504 just reversed what the 1503 patch broke. Now the track limits seem to be... Some tracks got better, some tracks got worse. I haven't paid attention to them because I've been focusing on the cars and... That's all me. Ain't nobody to blame but me there. Yeah, LMP cars are okay. They're just, they're not bad. They're not bad. But in all honesty, I'd rather learn to drive the LMDH cars. Oh, see, that's ridiculous. What I want with track limits is to be able to turn them off. So when I'm doing these testing videos, I'm not being punished by track limits of something that I'm just, you know, casually testing. Let's see. I believe it was this car that I noticed. I don't know if it's a bug or it feels like it's a bug. So default has no TC on or ABS. So let's put them both on 2, right? So TC's on. Pay attention to my accelerating with TC on. Look at the TC2 port, or TCS2. Look at that. Pay attention to my accelerating. When it's grayed out, that means it's being activated. So right now, right, we're not being activated. Okay? Let's slow down. Back to first gear. And let's just max out TC to 5, right? Let's accelerate. Did you notice anything? It's not going away. The car is not accelerating. Watch when I turn it off. Car just starts accelerating again. So with TC5, the car is just constantly having power pull the whole time, even when it's not slipping. Look, watch. Notice how we're not really accelerating at all? So I don't know if this is a bug, because the thing is that these cars don't have TC. They didn't originally. So they're forced on right now, right? And you'll see that when I lower it, the TC will actually shut off in higher gear and the car will start accelerating better. And now it's on TC3 and it's not being activated and the car is continuing to accelerate. Oh, track limits. Oh no! Screw it. Let's just crash. Okay. Was hoping to do multi-class with LMDH and GT3. Let's see. I suppose for testing I could turn on just practice. There you go, opponents. So it does look like you can set up a, who was it that asked earlier? Oh yes, 337 Raekwon there. Add class, LMDH. Let's just try this out. See what happens. Car class 1, car class 2. We'll do GT3. See how many it lets me do. 16. Okay, so same class. Let's turn this to 0. So you have a total of 31 cars you can put on the grid. On PC anyway. Let's see how this reacts. This could be bad. All right, so we have 3 classes. This is single player now. 10 of the same class, 10 of multi-class. Confirm. I feel like turn 1 in Spa is going to kill everybody. Well, let's see what happens. All right. So this is multi-class, 3 classes, 30 car grid, GT3, LMDH, and GT1. I am in a GT1 car. So this is the grid. Look at this. Look at this grid right now. Multi-class, LMDH, GT3, GT1.
Keep focused.
How is this going to work out for us? I'm going to avoid this corner because this corner is just going to be chaos. It seems I can't fully avoid it. Oh! Oh! Full force feedback on contact. It's violent. Alright. Let's jump around these GT3 guys. The Toyota GT1 car, in my opinion, is the most stable GT1 car. This feels good. This is actually my first time doing single-player multi-class. Not gonna lie, learned something new today. AI is only at 50% for experimental purposes, so they are not fast right now. Multi-class is a lot of fun, I'll say that. I understand why people do like it. So I've been doing some online lobbies of multi-class. It adds a different dynamic. Oh, Jesus. Go away. Go away. Go away! Oh no! Woo! Playing dodgeball with the cars. Oh, sorry. My bad. Do I blip when I downshift? No, auto blip is on. I just move the paddle and it downshifts. Yeah, 50%'s a little too slow for my taste here. As it should be, if you have any level of time racing, 50% should not be a challenge. "50% AI on iRacing for me would be a challenge. Yep, way out. Oh, no! That's just being greedy and not letting out of the throttle. Just seeing what the car would do. And it wasn't happy, clearly. Yeah, the contact sounds in this game, they are a, I feel like I will single-handedly work on making that sound be better to the devs, or for the devs. Because, I'm a big sound guy. And the contact sounds are, they sound like a fist fight. That's the reality of it. I will say the GT1 car is, it's not my favorite audio, but it is a fun car to drive. It's nice and smooth. I personally like the CLK, but the CLK has got some pretty crazy oversteer. God, I am driving so poorly, it's not even funny. I gotta remember this car. Driving this car after driving the LMDH stuff is tough because they can go wide open throttle through that turn. These can't. What's your guys' favorite view? If you had to pick. I hope it's not third person, because I can't stand third person. I like cockpit view the best, but I'm not a fan of windshield debris and haze and all that stuff. I wish there was a checkbox or a slider for just a clear windshield as if it's not there, you know? Then I would always prefer the cockpit view. But I think cockpit, the windshield always adds a level of detail to realism that I don't like in terms of just visuals. And that's in all Sims. Most people want cockpit, so that's what we'll do. So this evening, we're going to be doing some online lobbies. PMR. I was on the fence about if I want to do iRacing or PMR, but I think I'm going to do PMR right now because I think it's in a decent place, and I really want to find the most groundbreaking problems with it so I can address them to the devs. My biggest concern is, God, that track limit right there needs to be worked on. I shouldn't be penalized like this hard anyway for that. Hood view's not bad. I've always liked bumper cam when it comes to raw, like, tunnel vision. There we go. This is tunnel vision to me. This just puts me in this world of, like... But I also like cockpit. View. Jesus, buddy. I'm just going in the grass to get around you. You're ridiculous. As long as the servers aren't problematic, Tim, I really won't get frustrated. Lobby disconnects to me are the worst. Worst thing possible. And so far, since 1503 patch, we've had pretty good luck in the lobbies. I've personally only been kicked out of one lobby. And I didn't get kicked out, the game crashed. I actually made it in the lobby. But we've done about, I think, 15 individual online lobbies. And I got into every one of them, with only one of them actually just crashing. So my fastest lap was 2:17.9. And as you can see, the LMDH cars pretty much cleaned house. I think I had the fastest lap outside of all the LMDH cars. They were all faster. Because they're faster cars. Who knew? All right, let's see. So that was a sample of multi-class. Let me try some different cars. All right, I want to get into my trusty handy-dandy Mustang. Oh, wrong thing. So, my force feedback settings are First of all, what wheelbase do you have, and what are you playing on for a system? PS5, PC, those things are all factors. So we got 10 GTEs, 10 GT4s, and 10, 11 if you include myself, GT3s. GT3 with no ABS, and so I struggle with no ABS, but because you have to change a lot of things to get used to braking without ABS in the game, I mean, as well as habits. But so I can tell you that this is how I run my base at max at 18 Newton meters. I can't speak to the Fanatec actual settings individually by the base because I just don't know. But I can tell you in game, firm. Let me do a different track. Your game don't go. I don't know what that means. So what I would do is I would max out the force feedback on both the base and in the game. And then dial in the other settings in the game to your own personal liking. That's what I would do. So I'll show you on here. I would run this at max. Global force feedback, max it out. Max out the 8 Newton meters on the base itself. Low force boost will add a lot of force feedback to the lower settings, or lower force feedback. Brake feel boost, I don't really know what it does. That's default. That's how it is. I changed it around and I honestly don't feel anything, so default is where it's at. I turn off smoothing. And I lower the headroom down to 100, and rumble strength is on default. And the cars I don't even touch. All I do is put tires on them.
Good luck, mate.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Sharp corners and a lot of AI lead to some painful interactions. Because that's when it just throws all 18 at you. All 18 Newton meters, I mean. Or whatever your max. Oh, Jesus. I gotta learn to drive. No problem, sir. And yes, that is normal if you have the force feedback up all the way. The game seems to generate the most force feedback on impacts. Walls, cars, whatever. Maybe it's to teach you to not hit things. As you can see, I'm not doing a very good job.
We're top of the board on pace right now. Brakes are running hot.
I will say it is interesting to see all the varying force feedback feedback from people. Regardless of what they think the feedback should be. I think this game's got great force feedback. Some of the LMDH stuff is still kind of wonky, but for the most part, though, like the default feedbacks feel solid. But the problem is, I can only touch on it from my perspective of being on computer and using a Simagic wheelbase. I also, in my Simagic software, turn off a lot of the artificial feedbacks that people like, supposedly, that I just don't like. That I just think, me personally, offers nothing positive to the experience. There's no force feedback in a wheel. I don't care what anybody says. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't care how long you've been in the sim racing, how much of a nerd you are in the technology. There is no force feedback you can put into a wheel that's going to generate G-forces from a real car that will give me the sensation of a G-force. The only thing that's going to do that is wanting to pull me out of the rig. And I have to hold into the rig. But that's what a lot of the oscillating is. And I'm good. I want my steering wheel to do what it would do in a real car in those real scenarios. That's it. And I just need to learn how to, properly hit the brakes when I'm supposed to. Let's see if I can get back on the track without dying. Alright, there's one, I think it's right there. One GT3 car I gotta pass for me to win my class. Right in front of me, I think. The GTE class is technically the faster car, so they should be all up in front, with the exception of this one guy in front of me who should be GT3.
White flag.
come on. How did I get in front of this guy so easy before? Probably like that. Just hitting him. Letting him know I'm here. That's how we do it. Right there. You just force him off the road. It's not illegal at all. Watch the replay on that. See how that looks. Overall, replays are, they're coming along. They're starting to look better. They look way, I will say, the replay looks way better than it did on release day. That's for sure. Without a doubt. There's still a lot of graphical things that need to be dialed in, for sure. There's a lot of blurring, lighting. It's making progress, though. It's, like I said, it really just comes down to, my personal opinion is that the game was just released too soon for... I really think that the end result is going to be solid. Like, this game will, like, for example, AMS2, ACC, those are two games that are in my back pocket that are a lot of fun. For, like, I think ACC is less fun. It's a great GT3 experience, but, you know, it does rely a lot on online. Whereas this game, and AMS2, for example, you can, there's a fun single-player experience there. And I think that this has the potential to be more fun than both of those when finished. So I know everybody is fixated on the fact that it was considered full release at launch. I don't look at it like that, regardless of what it costs, regardless of what the marketing team said. I look at it like the game has been in early access for a month to the community. And I would say 6 months to a year would be a polished release that everybody might have been expecting. I don't expect any one single patch to fix everything. That's just not going to happen. That's not how game development works. You know, just trying to manage your expectations here when it comes to the patches. I do expect patches to make things better, of course. And they did a solid with the hotfix. I was worried about that. I was worried about the things that they did, essentially go backwards on because I would say patch 1503 was 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I was wondering if they were going to release a hotfix patch or wait till the next big patch to fix the problems that they did create with the 1503 patch. And they did a solid and released a hotfix to fix those problems. That's huge. These are all good moves. So I know the marketing team. I know Ian Bell. I know the day one release price and all that stuff is just souring some people, and they can't seem to let go of it. Like $70 is, the reality of it is this. You can feel robbed. You can feel some type of way. But at the end of the day, if the $70 truly does feel like theft where it affects you morally and financially, then you shouldn't have bought the game in the first place. You should have held on and not spent any money. That's just my generic financial advice. But that being said, the amount of fun that the game's cost has gotten me so far has been worth it. Yes, there have been problems. Yes, I consider this game to be early access, regardless of what anybody else wants to say. I try to approach everything from a critical thinking standpoint. The game is substantially better than it was on release day. And it will be substantially better in 6 months as well. Ignoring the DLC content coming out. I'm pretending that doesn't exist. I'm just looking at an experience. I think there's a lot of stuff here right now that will be big when dialed in. Look at that terrible driver. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. I think career and ranked play are the biggest places to improve the game itself. I think single player, regular single player mode. I think online custom lobbies, they are in a really good place right now. Especially with the most recent patch, the online lobbies got a lot better with the ability to just be able to edit your lobby settings without starting a new lobby. That's huge. F125 doesn't let you do that, and that's an EA game. A lot of other titles do allow you to do that, though. Let's see. I think this game is great, looks great, plays great, just needs a glow up and an active dev team. I hope it becomes more popular as crossplay is cool. Love the way we get to blend the player base. Crossplay is absolutely the gaming future. In my opinion, any company that is avoiding crossplay is shooting themselves in the foot in the long run. Right now, Gran Turismo 7 has the Sony PlayStation money, but the population of the world continues to increase. And every single person with an Xbox, every single person with a PC, how many of those people exist that would buy Gran Turismo 7? Well, Sony has to outpay all of those people. And eventually, I just don't see it lasting. I don't see Sony being able to afford that license. That being said, though, crossplay is absolutely the future. Anybody not doing crossplay right now, in my opinion, they want their company to eventually hit a wall. I mean, Forza Horizon 5 is like the textbook example of when you go crossplay. So many people, you know how I know so many people are on the fence about whether to buy PMR or not? My stream viewership. Project Motor Racing gets me the most viewers, period. And LMU, iRacing's hit or miss. iRacing is very selective on its time. Oh, that's the end of the replay. Got it. But, like, I know I'm not established at all in iRacing. Who's going to look at me for iRacing? iRacing is purists. I definitely, my mentality, I like iRacing. I like a lot of iRacing. But I hate a lot of iRacing, too. My personal style of more casual racing fits into a game like this or a game like Rensport much more than an iRacing or an LMU. Like, I really don't like LMU's presentation for explaining things. Now, I understand it's a die-hard game. I get it. But you have to look at it as a company, as a business, as a game developer. How do I make the most amount of money by getting... You have to lower the barrier of entry so that it's easier for people to get into your game, because you want to welcome people into it. But you don't want to have a low ceiling to where getting to the top of that skill gap is very easy. So in my opinion, LMU needs to improve on their entry level getting into that game. Now, mind you, the game hasn't been out long, so I'm not going to sit here and maybe they have their roadmap is way above and beyond that. But in my opinion, where LMU sort of is lacking is the ignorant player base barrier of entry. I am putting myself in that player base where, like, I just want to get in a game and race, right? And there's a lot of complexity to LMU and iRacing that is in no way explained to you, that you just kind of have to figure out on your own. And you figure that out by making mistakes, screwing up races for yourself primarily. And that's okay, that's fine. But if you want the game to make more money, I'm sorry, the diehards aren't enough. There's a reason why LMU is coming to console, because that's where they see money. iRacing doesn't care about going to console because they have grandfathered themselves into micromanaging or microtransactions. iRacing charges you $15 per track. So, like, okay, for example, let's just jump into the the track list here in PMR. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 tracks. Okay? Let's do some quick math here. I need it on a calculator because I'm a stupid head. Calculator. 15, this is no tax, times 18. That's $270 in iRacing right there. Just to have the tracks. Pre-tax. So let's just do plus 7%. All right, so you're at $290 after tax in iRacing to have 18 tracks. Yes, it comes with some tracks out of the box, but they're all very short. They're none of the good ones. I should say none of the good ones. There's some good ones in there, but they're good for slower cars. None of the popular big tracks are in iRacing by default, so you got to buy them all. You have to buy Zolder. You got to buy Sebring. Got to buy Spielberg, San Marino. You got to buy all those. So my point is, do I have to count the cars in this too? All right. Does it show me a total number so I don't have to actually count every one of these? I don't know if it does. So we'll just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Anybody annoyed yet? 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 82 cars. 82 cars. Sorry about that counting. I know that was tedious. Cars are $12 in iRacing. That's $984. So, call that 1,000. you're at basically $1,300 for the numbered amount of content in this by comparison to iRacing. So you can see why iRacing doesn't care about expanding to other things, because there are so many purists that are spending that level of money in the game. They don't need, you know. So when I already have, I would say $350, maybe even $400 in iRacing myself, and I don't play it as much as I play PMR. So yeah, this game in its current state, I'm not going to complain about its money at all. It's not even close in terms of like the punishment of iRacing. But that isn't to offset or ignore the problems that the game does have. I'm just saying, from a total dollar amount standpoint, in the content you have here, like, if you love iRacing, I don't think you can hate Project Motor Racing for its cost versus what you get. I just don't think you have that argument in your back pocket. You can argue that there are bugs and things like that that need to get addressed that aren't dialed in, sure, but you can't complain about the cost of the game for the content you get if you're someone who likes iRacing, because iRacing gives you nothing and makes you, you know, feel guilty about it. I saw people shitting on the game, and people like yourself making a non-biased review. Bought it because I believe that the game will come to us. Just play like 10 hours, nine and a half were fun. And that's kind of how it is for me. The biggest thing that like I had to kind of back away from it was the server problems, because I like online racing the most, like the multiplayer lobbies, but I really, really, really got sick and tired of not being able to make my own lobby and enter it. I mean, like 50% of the time. It does seem like the 1503 patch made the server quality, be it on their end or our end, whichever, a lot more stable. I personally haven't not made it into my own lobby yet. However, I've had people not make it into my lobby, but for the most part, I want to say those people have potential internet connection issues. But I don't want to blame the customer and not the game, you know. But every game I play, no, it's not perfect when it comes to the online interconnect, you know? Let's choose a different track. Ooh, my bad. Oof, here we go. Hello from Portugal, sir. Thanks for being here. So what we're going to do, we're going to do one more race here. I'll probably stream for another half hour, and then I'll get off, and then I'll get on again. And so it's my time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I plan to start streaming at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and going well into the hours of the night. And I will be playing Project Motor Racing, and I will be doing some open lobbies. So if you are around and you have PMR on any console, I will be hosting lobbies for us to race in. So let's have some fun, because that's where this game shines, in my opinion. I might even go buy this. It sucks because I really want to wait for a potential discount, but I'm not really counting on a discount. The last thing I want is to buy this game on console, and then right after I do it, there be a discount when I already own the game, you know? We'll see. We'll see. Awesome. I'll see you on tonight. So let me set this race up. I'm going to use the bathroom, and then let's do this. right, all right. Get the Bloody Marys ready, he says. Just reading some chat here before I start the race. I bought the game on PS5 even though I already have it on PC. Yeah, I'm contemplating because I've played it on standard PS5. I want to see if it's any different on PS5 Pro. It looked decent enough on PS5 on a standard OLED screen. No real complaints here. I'm just curious if it gets any kind of resolution or bump or anything like that on PS5 Pro, or if there's any different whatsoever, or if it's essentially just the same exact game across both platforms and PS5 Pro just runs a more stable frame rate. Because something with the extra power has to be utilized. Even if it's the same game, you know, it has to get a better... Like, for example, a standard PS5 targets 60, but if it drops below 60, the Pro should help keep it at 60, if assuming it's the exact same game. I like the game a lot, and it's getting a lot better. The problem now is I don't know how much damage control they can really do. I hope it grows so I can play with homies on console too. Like, patches need to be coming out weekly or bi-weekly to get it to where it needs to be. I hope they do so. Player count goes up some. I don't see a problem with graphics, and the game runs excellent on PS5. You know, I agree. I am in the same boat. I'm not worried about where the game will be. I'm worried about when the game gets there, if people want to play it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I think this game, if they really dial in the career mode and the single-player experience, I think this game will be a solid game to have on the shelf. Even if, like, the multiplayer scene stops existing, I think there's just a lot... Most of this game that I have done by myself, you know? But I do want people to be able to play online. But at the end of the day, I come from the video game world where, like, you buy a game and there is no online. You buy the game for the game. My favorite video games to this day are still single-player games. Thank you for the sub, sir. I appreciate that. Audible Rectect. It's probably not at all how you say that, but thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm hoping... I do believe that the game will recover a good amount from a player-based standpoint. Might take a little bit of time. The game's going to have to get polished. What was I going to say? I'm fairly, like, based off what I've seen in the first month from a patching and developer communication standpoint, I get good intentions from the developer. It's the publisher is always the one, though, that controls the finances. So... You know, when you see the layoffs, that part's disheartening. But that's not necessarily up to the developers. I mean, it is up to the developers. They have to handle that internally to figure out who has to go and stuff like that. But financially, it all comes down, it all rolls downhill, you know? So, hopefully... I feel like the low point has already been hit. And it only has up to go. Because the game is getting better. The game is getting more fun. It's getting more fun because it was always fun for me, but it's getting more fun from a stable standpoint. You know, obviously crashes, bugs, problems can pull you out of the fun, but what I think needs to stop is the entitlement and the pettiness of a lot of, like, say, the guys on YouTube that are just wanting to drag the game through the mud for the sake of not liking a particular person who works in the company. I think bottom line is that's just bullshit. If you are one of those well-established YouTube guys, shame on you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna name any names. I don't care. Shame on you. You know who you are. If you are the guy farming the clicks, because hate always, I can promise you this, negative news always gets more clicks than positive news. But I don't believe in just saying the positives. When a game like this comes out, and it has positives and has negatives, if you want to talk about the game in an honest way, you have to address both. You can't pick one or the other. You can't glaze it and say it's the greatest thing ever and ignore all the problems. And on the other hand, which is what people have been doing, you can't focus on just the negatives and none of the positives. Both of which are dishonest. Because, like you said in chat, people are on the fence about whether or not they should get it. I know that I, personally, if I could tell myself to get this game, I would do it I would confidently say, yes, go buy the game. I am confident enough right now, with my experience, I'm going to buy it on PS5. Because I believe it's going to be fine on PS5. I'm on PC, and I'm on a Simagic wheelbase. I have a G923, which I might eventually get an RS50 to replace, because I have a travel rig that when I get on the road for a while, I'll bring my PlayStation and I'll bring my my collapsible lawn chair of a sim rig, which is the Play Seat Challenge. And right now it's got a G923 on it, but I'll probably upgrade that to an RS50 when I feel like wasting money on a second direct drive. But I've played the game on PS5 on both a Logitech Pro and a G923 to the point where now I am comfortable getting it on PS5. Think they need to bring out a playable demo? That would help. That would help for sure. Well, that's exactly where PMR sits, Lincoln. Right in between Gran Turismo and like the LMUs and the ACCs as far as welcoming a crowd to seriousness. GT7's a great game, but it is, in my opinion, the competitive side of it is just numbers, but it's not very competitive. It's like, the best way I can explain the racing experience is it's JV. It's junior varsity. But it's a massive junior varsity league. It's massive. And the LMUs, the iRacing, the ACCs, those are the professional leagues. There's no varsity league, and I think this game kind of falls right into what would be the varsity league. It's the in-between the full-blown professional league and the JV team. That might be a piss-poor analogy, I don't really know. Point of the matter is, PMR falls right in between the super serious sims that don't hold your hand in any way, don't give you anything to explain. They just throw you in and good luck, go chase that I rating. Go chase that, you know, LMU bronze, silver, gold ranking, you know? I want to be able to, like, in Gran Turismo, I put 1,100 hours in the game, and I never once played online. That's where Gran Turismo 7 shines, you know? Anyway, let's do some racing, and we'll chat a little bit, and then we'll close it up. All right, boys. Multi-class, one-lap, Nordschleife. This is going to be a shit show, and I can't wait. Like, these graphics look awesome. They really do. But when the sunlight hits just right, the graphics in this game are actually next level. Like, this looks so good. The road texture, the car detail, everything looks good. I'm telling you when I say this game has better graphics than almost every other game I've seen so far, it truly does. The problem is, a lot of the game is being looked at through a foggy lens, or like you got fingerprints on some glasses, or like there's glare hitting and where glare shouldn't hit, and it just dulls down this really good image. Whereas every other sim focuses on like pop, making the colors pop, and like for example, AMS2. The amount of people on YouTube I have seen say AMS2 looks better than PMR, or has better graphics, I should say. They're not looking at the games. They're just seeing AMS2 is clear, has more clarity, and the colors pop better. The physical graphics, the textures, the detail is not better. It's objectively not better. It just looks it because you're not looking at it through like that, you know, fingerprinty glasses. I genuinely believe this game, when it is polished, visibly, is going to be one of the best looking sim titles. I think AC EVO is probably the only title that might have better graphics when it's finished. But it's even further out from finished than this game by quite a bit, if you ask me. Oh, look at chat. Don't look at chat, Evan. Focus on the race. So one of the developers said that pristine is the way you'd want to run the track if you want the absolute best grip right off from the get-go. Oh! You son of a bitch. It's alright, we pulled a cold trickle. We're right back in the race. So I am in 8th place in my class right now. I'm only in front of 2 cars. Yeah, this looks great. I'm sorry, this looks good. Telling you, man, it just needs a buff. You know when they say it'll buff out? The problems with the visuals in this game will literally buff out. Just stop being entitled and let them work. At the end of the day, none of you can tell the chef how to cook better. He knows how to do it. He just needs time. Leave him alone. Trust the process. That was actually my, or is my motto for my actual business. Trust the process. Because everybody wants to pretend that they are the one who knows best. And the reality of business is, the customer always likes to say the customer is always right. I disagree. I very much disagree with that. Plus, that's only half of the actual expression. The second half of it is in matters of taste. Meaning the customer is always right when it comes to their opinion of what they actually like. That doesn't mean they're right about an actual equation that they are objectively wrong about. That being said, let the chef cook. I've seen the same, like, for example, the Discord. There's some good stuff in there, but there is a lot of toxicity in the Discord, man. And it all stems from, like, just entitlement. It's gotten to the point where, like, I might even agree with you, but I don't agree with how you're presenting the information. I've seen the same people bitch and moan and complain that there was no radar in the game, and now that they have radar, they're complaining about the radar. Like, it's wild how unpleasable people are. And as a business owner myself, I can tell you, a lot of times people suck. I know that I would not want to make a video game in this day and age. Absolutely not. Years ago, that was my own fault. That was my own fault. I cut that corner into him. Oh, I just crashed him, though. Yeah, a long time ago, I always told myself, man, it would be incredible to create video games as a job. Now? Absolutely not. I want no part of that charade. I feel like making video games now, to no fault of anybody in the industry, it went from being an art to being like a clown show. Where you just gotta sit there no matter what and entertain the crowd. Crowd says jump and you gotta ask how high. I'm good with that. Am I too negative? What do you guys think? I think I'm just honest, but some people say I'm negative. Oh! Oh! Game looks better today. It looks the same to me, but I think it looks good this whole time with just visual bugs. This game is like the visual definition of, like I said earlier, it's the visual definition of it'll buff out. The core of the graphics looks good. There's a lot of good graphics here. It's just, it needs a little bit of wax, needs a little polish. Need to get the orbital out. Remove some of those hairline scratches. .709. That's one of our worst. We're about 20 seconds off our pace right there. But we spun out several times, so. Actually, never mind. That's not me. It hasn't updated my time yet. Interesting. Interesting. No, the sim racing community is just toxic. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the amount of random... Mind you, this is... I've always... Like, the bottom feeders of the world, just so you know, this is most... how most people think, but also how I think. Like, you are the lowest on the totem pole of the human race if you are that person just browsing YouTube and leaves negative comments on random videos to shit on people's day. You are the, like, that white foam that develops on the side of someone's mouth when they get really, really dry mouth. That's what you are the equivalent of if you are that type of person. I'm just gonna scroll by this person's video. You know what? Here's some negative ass ignorant shit. Send. Moving on. I'm not even gonna read a reply if there's ever a reply. I'm just gonna move on. I'm just gonna shit on that person's day. I don't want to have a debate. I don't want to have my point come across. No. I just want to shit on that person so they feel bad about themselves just reading that statement. Whether it affects them or not, they're going to read that and they're going to get a little bit of a dopamine spike that's a little on the negative side. And that's going to be how I affect their day. Just know, you are the lowest on the totem pole in life. You are going nowhere the absolute fastest. That's all I'm saying. I've seen that for years. That's human beings. Humans have not evolved. They have de-evolved. Devolved, whatever the word would be. Me not knowing how to say that is testament to that. Anyway. Yeah, I do notice this. I mean, I come from real racing, so if you think sim racers are toxic, trust me. Trust me. You don't want to see how people handle real racing. It's even worse. Oh. Work people every day, it's the worst. It is. It is. So, Fogbound, in the beginning of this stream, if you want to go back and take a look, I ran through all of the LMDHs. The Valkyrie and the Cadillac are the best. They have the least amount of oscillation. They're the most drivable cars of the LMDH. So for me, like, I only need 1 or 2 cars to drive. I don't need an entire class of cars to work. Yes, I do agree they need to fix the cars to make the entire class feel balanced, but you know, like every other game, there's always going to be a meta. Call of Duty's always going to have a meta gun. You know, everybody's a while going to jump on the M4, then it's going to be the Kilo, then this, that, then this, that, and this, that. And people are only, from a competitive standpoint, ever going to use the best thing. So if whatever the best car is, that's what's going to get used. So in my opinion, you're going to see the Valkyrie and the Cadillac are the only LMDH cars used, based off of my personal experience this morning. GT3 feels pretty balanced in this game. Any mid-engine car I try and avoid because they tend to oversteer. If you get track warnings, your time is deleted, I think. At least the career race I did, I noticed that. Yeah, like I said, the game is not free of problems. You know, it really just comes down to who you are as a person. Are you able to look past bugs in the name of fun? Or does a bug completely eject you out of the game and you want a refund? If you are the latter, don't buy the game. If you are the first, buy the game. Oh, man. All right. Start wrapping up here. Game's got a lot of promise. A lot of promise. I'm not like some bandwagon person. If I thought the game sucked and had no potential, I would have stopped. I wouldn't have bitched about it. I wouldn't have been on the internet ranting, roaring. I just would stop playing it. You know? There's a lot of potential fun. I am a proponent of both Project Motor Racing and Rennsport. I think they are both going to have a great 2026. Rennsport, I think, has an advantage right now, even though there's less people playing it and it's a smaller game, because there's less negative aura around the game. So, if the negative nonsense slows down or comes to a halt on PMR, I mean, I think the game's got a fantastic future. But people got to stop being, in lack of a better word, people have to stop being cunts. You know? I read some of these comments and it's like, who are you to think you can just walk into someone's house and put a list of demands on the table and leave? That's not how you give advice. That's not how you ask for things to maybe potentially be changed in, say, your game. Hey, I experienced this issue. I'm just letting you know this is my feedback on what I experienced and what I think might be a problem. No, it's just fix your blah, blah, blah. I can tell you as a business owner, if you ever just walked up to me and said, do this, I would tell you where to go and how to get there. Go pound sand, buddy. I don't need you as a customer. Entitlement in 2025, I think it is at an all-time worst, because as a world, we are at an all-time best. Not that I am at all an advocate for any kind of war of any kind, but a real world war would straighten people out real quick and make you realize, oh, we don't actually have any real world problems. At least in all the first world countries. I'm not going to speak to third world type stuff. But in the first world countries that are thriving, I'm sorry, there are no major problems. And it shows through the entitlement that people act. They take these very, very, very tiny, little minute problems in the world and make them this big problem. That's how you know we don't have problems. If the worst thing in your day is a bug in a video game, you have a fantastic life. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. Let's get back on track over here. Let's see. I think that is realism. If you cut track, time gets deleted mainly on qualification. Well, yeah, your time, I do believe, doesn't count in if you break track limits. They criticize it as though they could make a better sim. Well, that's in general. That's always been my favorite thing about humans is that when they criticize a professional on their job, it's like, okay, can you do a better job? Oh, then shut up. Give me time. And the amount of people that never mind. Never mind. There are customers that are better off using the competition. I agree. Like, here's what I can tell you. And this is what I said, one of the things I said earlier. If the cost of this game and the bugs that come with it make you feel like you deserve a refund, you would be hard-pressed to experience anything other than Gran Turismo 7. Like, you are a Gran Turismo 7 player, you should go back to that. Because on the other end of the spectrum is iRacing. You'll spend $300 on the tracks that come with Project Motor Racing to buy them in iRacing. So, sure. You could argue cost per efficiency, Gran Turismo 7 is better than Project Motor Racing. It is. It's a polished game. It's been out since 2022. Costs the same. It's good to go. You'll have tons of hours and tons of fun in it. But if you think the racing is dull and needs to be more competitive, welcome to Thunderdome. Gran Turismo 7, I would say, is the most polished racing game. Not sim, whatever. Just, you get in a car and you go racing. Gran Turismo 7 is the most polished right now. But for me, it has the worst racing. I enjoy the racing aspect of the racing game the least. So, if the cost of Project Motor Racing and the bugs that come with it are a deal breaker for you, you need to stick to Gran Turismo 7. Because there is nothing that's going to please you more than that game. However, if you're an iRacer who spends a lot of money on iRacing, you have zero right to complain about what you get with Project Motor Racing for what it costs. Zero right. But iRacing will still be there in 10 years and you are still buying new games. That is true. That's a good point. iRacing isn't going anywhere. But the reality of the situation is, we technically don't know that. All we can go by is the right now. And kind of judge based off of patterns. iRacing's been out for 17 years. That's a good start to a long career. They just updated they made a couple posts that excite me for things that they might be doing. New tire models, graphics engine update. These are big things in iRacing. This is where iRacing is struggling, in my opinion. But their biggest thing in iRacing that ruins it for me is their tires. But I don't want one game. I don't want just iRacing. I don't want just Project Motor Racing. Personally, if it were up to me, if I stream 3 times a week on a schedule, I would want a day where I go full-blown chasing something, like say iRacing. I would want a more laid back, but still a bit of a racing grind experience, say like Project Motor Racing. And then on the other day, I would want something laid back and strictly for arcadey fun, like potentially Forza Horizon 6. I like them all. There's an ass for every seat. And my ass takes up a few seats. So I want all these games to do good. I think Rennsport's got a lot of promise. I want Rennsport to do good. Rennsport to me is a great way of taking LMU, making it easier and more casual, and giving it to everybody. I think that's the advantage that they currently have that they could potentially do in 2026, to the point where LMU coming to console might be, I don't want to say a dead end, but Rennsport is in that position to genuinely hurt LMU's stride to console. The only people that would deviate from, say, a polished up long-term Rennsport to, say, an LMU are the people that they want that next step in challenge. They want to get away from the more fun style of racing and focus on the painful style of racing. That would be what the switch from Rennsport to LMU, where those people would want. But either way, you shouldn't take your favorite sim and want all of the other ones to fail. You're a toxic person if you are, and you need to go away. You need to go find another hobby, or just stop typing on the internet. But you should want Project Motor Racing to succeed. You should want Le Mans Ultimate to succeed. You should want Rennsport to succeed. You should want iRacing to succeed. If you like racing, you should want an arsenal of a catalog. The hardest part for you when you get in your sim is to go, man, there's so much fun to be had. Which one do I want to play today? That should be your biggest challenge. It shouldn't be, I want this game to succeed and the rest to fail. Why? Because that's the one I play. That's stupid. That is stupid. You always want competition, because competition, consumer always wins. Prices get lowered, games get made better. That's competition. That's all the world. Competition is always better. Anyway, folks, I'm done rambling. I've been rambling for way too long, and I know you're probably sick of hearing it. I just want to say I will be back on in 6.5 hours, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to play some Project Motor Racing. We will be doing it in the old-fashioned online lobbies, so if you're around tonight and you want to get in on some online racing, let's make it happen. Game's in a solid place right now. Let's have some fun. Thank you for being here, folks. Like the stream, subscribe if you want to see more of these things, and get notified of it. I guess you have to do the whole bell tapping thing, and I don't know. I need a program on a button so it just goes bling bling, do all this stuff. That way I don't have to repeat myself and sound like a broken record of ignorance. But Harry Desi, get in. Let's race at 8:30 p.m. Let's do it. Anyway, boys, thanks for being here. I'll see you at 8:30. Take care.